Have you ever thought about where your produce comes from? Most grocery chains receive produce from various local and national farmers. In fact, there are about 3.4 million farmers in the United States today. But of that staggering number, only 45,000 are Black farmers. At the Better Buggy, we are a proud group of Atlanta-based Black-owned farmers, selling produce locally and nationwide. Our easy-to-navigate online platform makes it easy for you to make a one-time purchase or to simplify your life by subscribing to our weekly produce box. Whichever frequency you choose, you can order with confidence, knowing you'll receive 100% organic farm-fresh produce. If you're looking for a thoughtful gift for a loved one that they'd actually find useful, be sure to pop by our online store where you can snag a gift card your recipient can use to order their own produce and t-shirts. Ready to start supporting local Black-owned farms and making healthier food decisions? Visit thebetterbuggy.com now to start shopping.
Ladies and gentlemen, this story came out on Newsweek, May 3rd, 2021. And you see the title here, right? Independent Commission calls U.S. police killing of Black crimes against humanity, but lacks enforcement authority. So in other words, we're going to put a commission together to discuss Black people getting killed while they're getting killed and continue to get killed, but we don't have the authority to put together an action plan to stop it. It's just more counterproductive stuff at the end of the day. If it's not going to stop the killing, that's exactly what it is. An independent commission announced its findings on April 27th with a publication of a detailed report that alleges the existence of systematic racism inherent in police violence against Black Americans, which they argue constitute crimes against humanity. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. But you know what they're going to do about it? Don't hold your breath, y'all. Although the commission has no enforcement authority, it made specific referrals to the United Nations Human Rights Council, HRC, the International Criminal Court, ICC, the executive branch of the U.S. government, and the U.S. Congress, among others. In the U.S., the referrals include a call for reparations, actions to review and retool existing law enforcement policies, and passage of legislation to hold law enforcement officers accountable when Black individuals die as a result of their encounters with police. At the international level, the commission called upon the global community to support ICC investigations into systemic racist police violence in the U.S. under Article 7 of the court's Rome Statute, which covers crimes against humanity. If y'all remember, this is what Malcolm X wanted to do when he was alive. He wanted to take the crimes that were going on against Black people and take it to the United Nations. The nations like Australia, Mexico, South Africa, and the United Kingdom are among the Rome Statute's list of 123 signatory countries. The U.S. is not. America's lack of ICC membership means the ICC has significantly less jurisdiction over the U.S. than it does over its member states. The killing of George Floyd in May, an event captured on video that went viral, sparked protests across the nation, which inspires calls from relatives of Black Americans who have been victims of similar police conduct to request reviews of the institutions and workplace cultures that allow this violence to fester. Exactly. Floyd's death inspired debate at the UN's HRC, which decided in June to create a report assessing how systemic racism and police conduct impact Black individuals around the world. But Floyd's family members and others who pushed for an inquiry had wanted the HRC to focus on those issues specifically in the US. In a response to the UN's global focus, three organizations, the US based National Conference of Black Lawyers, the National Lawyers Guild, and the International Association with Democratic Lawyers, came together to launch an independent commission of their own, which was officially named the International Commission of Inquiry on Systemic Racist Police Violence Against People of African Descent in the US. The commission is resulting a 188-page report, which funded by the National Lawyers Guild Foundation. And I'm trying to see if I can open this report. All right, it's not opening for me. What I will do is I'll try again to see if I can open it and at least put it in the comment section. So if you see it there, that means I was able to open it. If you don't, then I was not able to do it. The commissioners wrote that they believe launching an independent inquiry was necessary because of the way the UN backed away from the focus on systemic racism and police conduct in the US. The report said the UN did so in response to pressure from the US, while the country was led by former President Donald Trump. Well, we're no better off under Joe Biden. Him and Kamala won't even acknowledge racism in the country. They're trying to ignore it and just move on. But it's amazing. They acknowledge it when it comes down to Asians, though. Okay, so I don't understand how there's no racism in the country when it regards Black people, but there's racism in the country when it regards Asian Americans. Okay, this is why I don't like politicians. You talk out of both sides of your ass and don't complain because I said a cuss word. If you don't like it, please move on. You know, how the hell are you on social media and you don't hear cussing? I mean, are you for real? All right, y'all. Moving on. Moving on. After succumbing to enormous pressure by the US and its allies, the HRC instead directed the Office of the High Commissioner of Human Rights to prepare a report on systemic racism and violations of international human rights by police against Africans and people of African descent throughout the world, the report said. Jamil Darkwar, the director of the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU Human Rights Program, said the UN's decision to pursue an international report ultimately was watered down from the initial request for an inquiry with the US focus, which the ACLU supported. The independent commission report came came as a way to further document and press for international accountability that we asked for last summer, Darkwar told Newsweek. He said it is important the public understands that the Commission's report is entirely separate from the UN's inquiry. The ACLU joined in requesting, though through Tuesday's report, reiterates those earlier calls for the UN to focus its attention on allegations of race. The racist cop conduct in the US, which has gone on since the plantation days. For their report, the 12 commissioners from countries around the world collected testimony from family members and attorneys of 43 Black individuals in the US who were killed during encounters with police, and one other Black individual who was paralyzed after he was shot by police. The commission posits there are two law systems in the US, one for black citizens and one for white citizens. That is that is the truth. That is the truth. Under color of law, black people are targeted, surveilled, brutalized, maimed, and killed by law enforcement officers with impunity, as being black itself criminalized and devalued, the report said. After hearing the testimony and reviewing national data, the commissioners conclude that both the relevant laws and police practices in the U.S. do not comply with the international human rights obligations of the U.S. The commission alleged there are international use of force violations within U.S. laws and law enforcement practices, which the report describes as national pattern, that it alleged targets Black individuals as a result of racial stereotypes. The stereotypes result in law enforcement officials targeting Black individuals based on racist association between Blackness and criminality, according to the report. The report cited examples of traffic stop and frisk incidents as policing methods that it said further exacerbated high arrest rates among Black Americans. It suggests the U.S. Supreme Court backs an interpretation of the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which prohibits unreasonable searches and seizures in a way that expands state power to inflict violence against Black people. The scarcity of independent reviews to assess citizens' death while in police custody and the military equipment local police departments receive from the Pentagon. The report cites $5.4 billion in such equipment dispersed since the U.S. declared a global war on terror following attacks of September 11th, 2001, have further contributed to the problem. The commission reports arrive at a time of national reckoning about systemic racism in the U.S. and the ongoing impact the country's racist past and present has on its Black population. More than 23 million Americans tuned in last week to watch Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer charged with Floyd's death, was found guilty by a trial of his peers, according to the Associated Press. After Chauvin's guilty verdict was read, President Joe Biden said it had the potential to be a big step forward in the march towards justice in America. The U.S. Justice Department subsequently announced an investigation into policing practice in Minneapolis. Well, y'all should be doing that nationwide. And earlier this week announced a similar investigation into a Louisville Police Department in Kentucky, where Breonna Taylor died after she was shot by police inside her apartment last spring. Taylor's case was one of 44 the commission heard testimony about compiling its assessment. During a news conference on Tuesday, at which several of the commissioners spoke, the commissioner coordinator, Lennox Hines, said those 44 cases were representative of the tip of the iceberg of systemic nature of the pandemic of racist police violence against Black Americans. He said those victims and many others fell at the hands of police here in the United States, and the same police who are sworn to serve and protect, which they never do in the Black community, instead serve as executioners of children and our loved ones. Mm, mm, mm. So, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, it goes on, but it's pretty lengthy. What I will do is leave the link to this in the description box. And all I have to say is all this time and no help in stopping all of these murders and all of these illegal things that these cops are doing in the Black community, shooting people in the back and shooting a bunch of unarmed people that are just sitting in a car with their hands on their steering wheel. You know, I'm not knocking what they're doing. I know you got to record what's going on, but damn, when are you going to get to the part where you do something about it? It just seems like that part of it never comes. So these commissions are okay, but it's just so funny how you were able to do things immediately for Asians. But for us, we need a commission, we need studies, we need to look at the report, we need to review this, we need to review that. It gets tiresome. It really does. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.